study Mayweather's fights, there's one recurring theme. He often gave up the early rounds. But why? The answer is rather simple. He used the early rounds to study his opponents. Think of it as an investment. Sacrifice the first 3 rounds to have the advantage for the last 9. But you may ask yourself, what exactly is he studying? Elite boxers with high IQ are computing a few things. What are their opponent's punch selection? Do they start every engagement with a jab? Does the hook always follow after the cross? Are they trying to land with a jab or just using it to set up their power punches? How about their defense? How do they react to the jab? Are they constantly slipping to the outside? And if they are, maybe a jab feint would be able to line up the cross. How do they react when there's a jab to the body? Do they drop the guard and expose the head? All these cues are important because it will determine how Mayweather approaches the fight. Every time his opponent throws a punch, plays with distance, or even defends, you better believe every move is being processed in Mayweather's head. If there were ever a fight where Mayweather got rocked, it was when Floyd faced Sugar Shane Mosley. The setup was rather clever. Mosley knew Mayweather wasn't very active in the opening rounds, so what does he do? Pushes a faster pace than usual. Mosley was active with his lead hand. He also mixed in a bunch of feints. What he was looking for was to get Mayweather to bite onto something so that he could sneak in across. The trap went something like this. Mayweather utilized the shoulder roll. What this means is that the lead hand is low to lure in the right cross. Then when the right cross was thrown, Floyd would then deflect it with his lead shoulder in order to counter with his backhand. Mosley knew this. He understood that the foundation of the shoulder roll relied heavily on timing. If Mosley was able to disrupt the timing, he would be able to bypass the lead shoulder to land something big. But how exactly would Mosley be able to throw off Floyd's timing? One word: misdirection. Mosley's pattern up until this point consisted of jabs to the head as well as jabs to the body. Rarely did he follow up with any other punch. What Mosley would do is to open with a throwaway jab to Floyd's body. Floyd by instinct would parry the jab with his rear hand. Before he was able to time the roll, Mosley had already launched the cross, allowing Mosley to land flush with his right. It was rather impressive to see Floyd react quickly, as he was able to tie up, not allowing Mosley to follow up with any other punches while he recovered. The thing about Floyd was this: if you were able to land a flush shot, he would not allow you to land the same punch twice. Floyd knew now that every jab Mosley threw to the body was merely a disguise to set up the right cross. So how does he go about preventing this? The first adjustment Floyd made was to jab Mosley every time Mosley opened up with the jab to the body. What this does is prevents Mosley from following up with anything else, as Floyd's jab would disrupt any further progress. Every time Mosley tried to open to the body, Floyd made sure to throw a counter right after, even if it didn't land, to give Mosley something to think about. Mosley lacked the foot speed to create angles, causing him to stand directly in front of Floyd. This meant that Mosley had to beat Mayweather to the punch. And if there's one thing you're not going to do, it's beating Mayweather to the punch. Floyd had a very effective jab, effective enough to control the pace. Once the pace was slowed down, Floyd had the type of speed to pot shot his opponents from the outside all night. The brilliance of taking the power punches away by countering right behind Mosley's jab was effective all night. Floyd also picked up Mosley's patterns by this point of the fight. Mosley almost always opened every engagement with his lead hand. Knowing this, Mayweather only had to pay attention to Mosley's lead hand movement. With no threat from Mosley's rear hand, Floyd was able to counter majority of Mosley's engagements at this point. Floyd was a master at disarming his opponent's best tools. By taking away the lead hand, Mosley was practically rendered useless for the entirety of the fight.
And here is vintage Mayweather getting through on Mosley. Just the quick speed. Doesn't seem like he can get through and then
really out of the fight. And, right now his hand speed is slowed down considerably. He's
extending himself with the jab. The right hand catches the shoulder. That's the big bugaboo against Mayweather.